All right, guys, so it's the end of the year, and this is when people start to shop for cars looking for those deals. So today, we're gonna talk about the 2026 Honda Civic Hatchback Sport. Is it worth the money? And how does it stack up against some of the other makes and models out in the world? Let's hop on in. So we're better to start than at the front and what's underneath the hood. So let's pull you on in. So you are looking at a 2-liter engine. This is a non-turboed engine. It's putting out 150 horsepower, which is then running to a CVT for your transmission and then out to front-wheel drive. So I want to throw a comparison up so you can see how does the 150 horsepower coming out of this vehicle stack up against some other makes and models out in the world. While that's up, I just want to remind you, there are 2 different powertrain options for this vehicle. In the base model, what we're looking at, you have a 2-liter engine putting out 150 horsepower. If you go up to the 2 trims above it, you're then in a hybrid model that's a 2-liter engine with a 2-motor system that's a hybrid putting out 200 horsepower. So something to keep in mind in case horsepower is important to you. So really quickly as we get going, I just want you to understand that there are 3 trims of this vehicle. So I'm going to throw them up on the screen. The first trim is the vehicle you're sitting in. That is the Sport. It is a non-hybrid version. When you move up, you are then in the Sport Hybrid, and then above that is your top trim. So I just want you to understand, hey, 3 trims when it comes to the Civic Hatchback, a little bit different than if you were looking at like the sedan. All right, guys, so I'm down on the ground for 2 reasons. The first is I wanted to give you an opportunity to see the 18-inch alloy wheel that this vehicle has. Depending on trim level, sometimes I had to fix size and wheel type and color. So just want to give you an opportunity to see this. On the white, it looks pretty good. Now, while we're here, I want to talk to you about MPGs. This vehicle gets 30 in the city and 38 on the highway. Not bad for a non-hybrid vehicle. However, if you go up to the hybrid, you're then looking at 50 in the city and 45 on the highway. So a pretty significant jump from non-hybrid to hybrid. But while I'm here, I want to throw a comparison up so you can see how does the 30 in the city and 38 on the highway stack up against other makes and models out in the world. So take a look at that. All right, guys, so in the front of this vehicle, you've got 42.3 inches of leg space to use. It's actually very usable. I'm 6 foot, roughly 250 pounds. I can hop in this thing, and if I push the seat all the way back, I have got plenty of room to work with. While we're here though, I want to throw a comparison up so you can see how does the 42.3 in the front of this vehicle stack up against other makes and models out in the world. I want to say the Prius snuck this one out by roughly 1 more inch. While we're here though, I just want to remind you, if you jump to a Civic sedan, or if you jump to even a Accord, they all offer that same 42.3 inches of leg space. So wouldn't matter if you went to a Big Brother, the Accord, or you stayed inside of the Civic family. All right, guys, so when it comes to rear leg space, you've got 37.4 inches of leg space. Now, I have the seat pushed all the way back. You saw me hop in the front earlier. So check this out. If I hop in the rear of this vehicle, I can still easily fit behind a 6-footer with the seat all the way back. While we're here, I want to throw up a comparison so you can see how does the 37.4 inches in this vehicle stack up against other makes and models out in the world. I want to say the Civic is winning this category. Also, just something to know, if you went up to the Big Brother, the Accord, you'd be getting 40.8 inches. So roughly 3 inches and some change more if you jumped up to a much larger vehicle. All right, guys, so in the rear of this vehicle's first cargo space, behind your second row, you've got 24.5 cubic feet of space. Pretty usable. You could throw a couple carry-ons, a couple bigger bags in here and be okay. I'm gonna throw a comparison up so you can see how does the 24.5 stack up against other makes and models out in the world. I wanna say the Civic is also winning in this category. All right, guys, so if you fold these seats down, you now have 46.2 cubic feet all the way from the rear to your front row. Pretty usable space, and it's actually pretty flat. You got a little bit of a hump here, but not bad. Now, if you wanted to sleep in the back of this thing, if you're camping, me as a 6-footer, I'd need to lay diagonal or bend my legs. If you're a shorter person, you could probably make it work. But while we're here, I want to throw comparisons so you can see how does this cargo space stack up against other makes and models out there in the world. I want to say the Prius took this one with roughly 50.4 cubic feet of cargo space. While we're back here, I want to talk to you about a couple things in the rear of the vehicle. The first is, in the base model, you do have a spare. In your hybrid models, any Honda hybrid does not offer a spare. It offers a tire repair kit and an inflator. But this one does have a full diameter spare, so cool to know. Secondly, I want to talk about this guy. If you don't know what this guy is, let's come around here. First off, your gas door is connected to your door locks. That's kind of cool. Second part is this is capless. It's a double valve system, so you've got a valve here and a valve deeper down. If you ever ran out of gas, you would need a way to be able to hold this guy open to pour gas into it if you didn't have a gas can. That is the function of this funnel. Now, if you think that this is kind of a cool tip or trick and you want to learn about a bunch of others, I've made tips and tricks videos on the Honda Civic, so I'll throw some up in the corner and in the video description. Feel free to check it out. Even if you haven't bought one, there's some really cool stuff this car can do that you probably didn't know about. All right, guys, so I'm back on the ground for a couple different reasons. The first is I wanted to give you an opportunity to look at the front fascia of a car. It's important to me. If you ever looked at a goofy ass front car and you're like, I don't want to drive that, thing looks dumb. What do you think of this one? Leave a comment, let me know. Secondly is I want to talk to you about ground clearance. Depending on where you live, the roads may be nice or they may not, and ground clearance might matter to you. This car has 6.7 inches of ground clearance on it. If you were looking at a Civic, I'll throw that up, and if you were considering the Accord, I'll throw that up as well. I want to see the Accord is roughly 5.3 inches, so just understand pretty decent ground clearance on this car. But I want to throw a comparison up so you can see how does the ground clearance on this car stack up against some of those other makes and models that are competitors. I want to talk to you about 0 to 60 times. So the Civic base model that you're looking at has an 8.9 second 0 to 60 time. Not particularly fast, but I'm going to throw a comparison up so you can see how does that stack up against some of the other makes and models out there in the world. While that's up, I'll remind you, if you jump over to the hybrid, the next trim up or the top trim, you're now looking at roughly 6.2 to 3 seconds. So considerably quicker. So if that's something that's important to you, you might want to look at a trim above this. So I want to take a second to stop real quick and just bring up something that I saw people struggle with. And that's when they were shopping for vehicles, a lot of people cannot figure out exactly what comes in a trim. And if I jump up a trim, what am I getting? How much is it going to cost me? Things like that. Well, Honda makes it a little bit cleaner. It's not packages and different things that others do. But I want you to understand, if you're in the Sport and you're thinking, I might want to go up to that Sport Hybrid, the next model up. Well, I want you to understand how much it costs and what's that additional items that you're going to pay for and receive by jumping up that trim. I want to say it's roughly a $2,700 difference, but I want you to check out that list of items that you're going to get by jumping up one trim level. So I wanted to give you an opportunity to see one, what the steering wheel looks like, and then talk about a couple things behind the steering wheel. So as far as steering wheels goes, it's not that complicated. Your left side over here controls the digital side on the left side, so I can scroll through all my different menus. I got my home button, my voice command, my volume controls, and jumping tracks, and then source. Right on the right side is going to be a couple of my safety features. So let's talk about safety features for a second. So inside of safety support, there are 3 different features that I want to talk about. The first is road departure mitigation. This uses a camera up by the rearview mirror to detect the lines on the side of the road. If your car starts to veer off the shoulder of the road, it can give you an audible alert and actually vibrate the wheel to say, hey, wake up, pay attention, you're going off the side of the road. You can turn this feature on and off. The next one is blind spot information system. I think we all know what this is, but just for the sake of it, you get an indicator in your mirror that will light up if somebody's in your blind spot. If you start to try to get over still, you'll get an audible alert to let you know, hey, there is someone in your blind spot. You can turn this, of course, on and off as well. The next is collision mitigation braking. This uses radar in the grille and a camera up top to detect vehicles in front of you. If a vehicle's in front of you and they slam on the brakes, if you don't start to brake, the car can give you an alert, it can be audible, it can flash in the dash and actually apply the brakes to help prevent the accident. So there are 2 features on the steering wheel I want to talk about. The first is going to be lane keep assist. If I engage this button, you're going to see the same signal come on up in the dash. What it does is it uses the camera that I mentioned earlier up here to detect the lines on the road. So it'll keep you centered in the line. So if you start to veer a little bit to the left or the right, it can actually center the vehicle for you. Now the next feature is adaptive cruise control. So when I get up to the speed I want, I'm going to press this button. When I do, it's now going to hold that speed. I can then use this button to select the distance it'll keep between me and cars in front of me, whether they slow down or not. So if I use this and go the most boxes, you're going to see a ton of boxes appear up there. What that's going to do is if I'm driving down the road and somebody's going 65 in front of me and then they slow down to 55, my car will slow down to 55 and keep that designated space that I pick until I get out around them, and then it'll take me back up to the designated speed that I originally set adaptive cruise control to. Now, if you want to just turn this to classic cruise, all you got to do is press and hold this button until you hear a beep, and now it's flipped to just a classic cruise. Now I want to flip it back, press and hold, and now I can flip it back. Now, I just want to let you know, if you ever want to make adjustments because you feel like it's too sensitive or not sensitive enough, if you go into vehicle settings, from there you can scroll down one time to driver assist system setups, and this is where you can affect the sensitivity of all of those different features that I just mentioned. Inside of the base model, right, the Sport which we're sitting in, you get a 7-inch touchscreen. Depending on the trim level of this vehicle you get affects the size of your touchscreen. Now, for those other makes and models, I'll throw you out some of the options that they have as well, so you can understand kind of how this stacks up in the mix. Now, related to this, I want to point this out. You'll notice that when you're not using Apple CarPlay or Android Auto in this thing, it is just a generic gray like gradient screen. I'm not a fan of it. They started doing this a couple years ago, and I think it's because 90% of people are going to use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, which is fine, but come on, do a little bit better here. Now, when you plug in, of course, you have all those same things that you can take advantage of. Your Google Maps, your Spotify, your different apps that you have. You can always, of course, set up custom actions If you don't know anything about that, let me tell you about it real quick. It's in my tips and tricks videos. What if you go somewhere regular, you're a big Starbucks person, you just want to know the nearest one around and you travel for work? What if you could just click this and it'll pull up the nearest Starbucks to you and show it to you so that you don't have to type it in.
Minutes from your location.
It'll immediately pull it up so it can take you there. Pretty cool, right? And you can do that for anything. I've set up a couple examples. I did one for Taco Bell. If I wanted to add that onto the trip, I could even do that as well, right? And get that going. So a really cool way to like set this up. Now, this is a custom action I set up. It doesn't have to be just GPS. It could be a lot of things. The other thing is I can set up to automatically call someone, right? So this will immediately pick up and start dialing me. Now, speaking of that, two things. One, if you want to learn more, check out the tips and tricks video. Like I said, it'll be in the video description. A lot of really cool stuff you can do, and I show you how to customize this quite a bit. The second part is if you ever need to get in touch with me, know that in every video description, I've got my cell phone number, so you can shoot me a text, give me a call, shoot me an email. You can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, anything you want. So know that I'm available if you ever have a question or just want to say hi. If you're into tech, this next part is for you. If you're not, you probably fast forward through this, but you're going to notice on my screen that the entire operating system looks different. And you're also going to notice, hey, is that the symbol for Netflix? And if he jumps into his apps, why do I have things like the Play Store where I can download what I want? YouTube TV. I've got, Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, Prime Video, Netflix, all of these things. This is made by Carling Kit. It's the CPC 200T box. These things are super cool. I've actually reviewed a handful of them for this company. I like them and they're affordable. What's cool about this is you essentially give this thing data. You plug it in, right? You plug the box in just like you would for Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. I give it data through my phone. I just make a hotspot, and then it allows us to essentially turn my head unit into a tablet that I can download anything I want to. What's cool about that is if I'm taking a long trip and maybe I wanted to listen to Kevin Hart, I absolutely could do this, right? We could listen to it and drive. My kids could watch a movie if I wanted, whatever the case may be. Now, Spotify is available to you on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. However, if you go into an artist, two things. One, I can type in a search at any time, whether I'm driving or not. That's big to me. I drive with the windows down a lot, and I find that the voice commands just don't always pick up my voice that well in almost any car, right? So that's the first part. The second part is when you get in here, it's like if you open it up on your phone or your laptop, you get the full version of apps, right? It's not the cut up, watered down versions that you get up in Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, where you got to use voice command for searches and it only gives you limited views and things like that. That's why I really like this. I get the full version of apps like this, and then I can take advantage of things like Netflix, Amazon Prime, Kodi, YouTube TV, Disney Plus, all of those different things. So pretty cool that you can take advantage of this. If you're interested, this is something you would have to purchase. I'll throw a link up on the screen and in the video description to show you what it costs. And then understand I'm an affiliate. I can save you a couple bucks if you're interested. Being that we're around Black Friday and Christmas time, you could also probably save some additional money. So take advantage of my coupon code and anything else that they're offering. So should you buy a Honda Civic Sport Hatchback? It's a great question. You saw all those different comparisons. None of them were really hugely off. Everybody's pretty close. It's a pretty close race with the exception of one or two categories. So no matter what you pick, you're probably gonna get a pretty good vehicle. It might just come down to what do you like and how does it apply to you? Do you have a lot of people in your car, or do you need more cargo space, or do you need both? Then maybe this car makes sense. If you absolutely want the fastest 0 to 60 time and you want the best performance horsepower, yeah, maybe a Golf GTI is something you're looking for, right? Maybe you're thinking long-term, if I own this and want to hand it down, will it last? This is a good car. Toyotas are typically good cars. So there's a lot of things that may matter. Now, the second part to this is, if you are interested in learning more about the vehicle and some of the cool things you can do, check out the tips and tricks video. It'll be at the end of this video. The third thing I want to bring up is just some of the sponsors of the video. Of course, Carling Kit. This is a really cool thing. I support these guys just because I think it makes a lot of sense. Also, Into the AM t-shirt I'm wearing today. If you are shopping for gifts, understand that it is Black Friday time. It is Christmas time. These things are going to be on sale. I also have coupon codes, so I'll throw those both down in the description if you want to check out and take advantage. Lastly, I want to ask you for a couple favors. Hopefully, you will press the like button because you like the way I'm presenting the content. If you feel like I missed something or there's something you wish I would go over, please leave a comment. That's how 0 to 60 times landed in my videos. I didn't think anyone cared, and then I found out people do care. So leave a comment. Or if you just want to say, hey man, I appreciate you making it. You're doing a good job. I will take the pat on the back. I would love to hear from you. Third, I hope you subscribe to the channel so when I produce content like this, you receive it. And then 4, share the video, man. If you got some friends who are shopping for hatchbacks, or maybe they're considering just Hondas in general, I hope you'll share this video with them so that they can check it out. So like, comment, subscribe, all the things. Later, guys!